You may have seen my video recently on the shooting of Jason Kloepfer. I posted that last night, and a lot of you got pretty upset. Well, prepare to get even more upset. If you watched my video, you would have realized that there was a couple sleeping inside this mobile home, and the welcome wagon for Murphy, North Carolina decided to pay a visit, but they didn't bring any coupons or pastries or anything like that. They brought a whole lot of hot lead just for Jason. And so we're going to see the sad story here. I mean, I might laugh a little. He did survive, so I can laugh a little bit, but I hope Jason doesn't get too upset with me, because frankly, we're going to find out now what this was all about. Hello out there. I am trying to get through.
With his powerful brainwaves cradled in the warmth of reasoning, it's time for Johnny Walker Dread to straighten you out on a thing or two. Emanating all the way from exciting Las Vegas, Oklahoma, it's the Johnny Walker Dread Show.
In the early morning hours of December 13th, 2022, officers from the Cherokee County Sheriff's Department obtained a search warrant for 1790 Upper Bear Paw Road after a disturbance call made to 911 dispatch hours earlier. In addition to obtaining the search warrant, officers from the Cherokee County Sheriff's Department also requested assistance from the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indian SWAT team. Okay, we're going to have a lot to say about their involvement. And a siege of the residence at 1790 Upper Bear Paw Road was conducted. Just before 5 a.m. that morning, SWAT officers tossed a robot equipped with cameras into the residence and awoke the sleeping couple. Now, here comes the cops. You can see their flashlights on the outside of the door. Now, these are highly trained tactical SWAT members. It's amazing how they can get that little robot inside the mobile home without hardly making a sound. Listen. Just that they're jabbering. Yada, 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 yada. Hey, I have an idea, guys. Why don't you guys just shut the hell up? You're supposed to try to get that thing in without the people inside knowing about it.
It's open up there.
By now, even the neighbors know that these guys have stuck a GoPro inside his mobile home. For some reason, it didn't wake up the couple. They're good, hearty sleepers. By the way, you'll see this black flash. There's been little chunks edited out. I'm not sure what's happened, but I think it looks like a glitch in the actual videotaping. I don't think anybody actually did that on purpose because the edits come in at really odd times. It doesn't really make much sense. So I chalk this thing up to a glitch. And you can see the little GoPro now. It's got its light on, kind of roaming around. I have to admit, if I saw this little thing there on the floor shining a flashlight at me at like 11 o'clock at night, I would probably freak out.
Wait. What's going on? Wait. What's going on? Hello? 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 What is going on?
Jason, step outside and talk to him.
The fuck is that fucking thing? I don't know.
Come outside, Jason. Step outside the door onto the deck and show us your hand.
What's going on? What the fuck?
So he's picked up the GoPro. That was a terrible mistake. But again, he's asleep. So he's stumbling around and he sees this thing on the floor shining a flashlight on it. He sees what it is, so he picks it up. He's going to take it outside, right? I mean, it's theirs. So we'll see how this works out.
Jason, we just want to talk to you. Come outside.
Yeah, what?
And everybody is saying, don't open that door, Jason. This is like in one of those scary movies, right? And when somebody says, well, let's go down into the basement, you're thinking, no, don't go into the basement. That's a bad idea. We're all telling Jason, please don't open this door, but he's going to. And by the way, I forgot to tell you, they're claiming that there was some gunshots fired on the property. They're not sure who shot them. And that this is a hostage situation. That's right. The woman that's standing behind him is supposedly his hostage. Okay. All right here, Jason is going to pose a tremendous threat to those police officers. Oh, it's so good that they opened fire on him because you could tell by his actions, he's a killing machine, I'm telling you. So watch what he does very carefully. By the way, notice that his wife is standing right behind him because that's what you do in hostage situations. You stand behind the person that's holding you hostage as you stumble out the door.
I'm shot! What the hell? I'm shot! He's shot! What the hell did you do? Fuck! I can't! I'm shot!
They're saying, come out with your hands up. And he's saying, I can't. I've been shot. Wow. Wow. Let's go back and play this again. Now, I want you to notice something. When he opens the door, I want you to think about the threat that he posed to those cops outside. Let's play that again.
Yeah, what?
Show your hand.
What did you? I'm shot! I'm shot! I'm shot! What the hell?
Okay, so this is called compliance, by the way. They told him, come out with your hands up, and that's exactly what he did. And now you may be wondering, wait a minute now, though, he did have this object in his hand that could be mistaken for a gun. When we get done here, I'll show you why that could not have been a good reason to open fire.
I'm shot! He's shot! What the hell did you do? Fuck! I can't! I'm shot! I'm shot! You shot! He's shot! No! No! I'm shot! No! He can't! He's shot! I'm shot! He's disabled! He's shot! Please! Shot! Can you hear us? I can hear us! There's a he can't!
One thing that's pretty clear, there's chaos back there. Those guys are yelling at each other. They have no clue as to what the hell they're doing.
I don't have a gun!
Uh-oh, he's saying he doesn't have a gun. Well, if you're the cops, you better find one really quick. Because remember, that was the whole purpose of you being out there in the first place. Somebody was supposedly shooting up the property.
I don't have a gun! I didn't have a gun! I didn't have a gun! Got it clear. I didn't have a gun! I didn't have one! I had to
Cherokee police, am I here now? Yourself! Cherokee police, am I here now? Yourself!
Please, you have me a message.
Yes, they're on their way.
You shot me right
Where are you here at?
at my chest.
Okay, the ambulance is on its way.
I have no gun.
Hey, Master, hold on. Pull him and start working on him. God damn it.
They drag him outside to work on him. I don't have any issue with that, but I would love to be able to figure out what exactly they're saying. I pick up little bits and pieces here and there, but they're Southerners, and they talk like they have a bunch of marbles in their mouths.
Hey, start working on him now. Work it. Work it. Why'd you shoot me? I didn't see. Hey, don't check. Let's make sure there's no firearms around. Firearms in there. Flat on me. Shoot me right here. Where's the robot at? I have camera. I have your camera in my.
And by the way, he had the GoPro in his hand. If whoever's operating the GoPro, when you see a guy pick up the GoPro, you might want to communicate that to everybody. Hey, he's picked up the GoPro. That way they kind of know that he might be carrying an object when he walks outside. But evidently that never got transferred.
Where's the robot? Right here, behind us.
So they found the GoPro.
It's a crime scene now.
So when you come out with it in your hands, I'm like,
So the cop is telling him, well, if you come out with your hands up like that, okay, yeah, that's what you told him to do.
all we got is there were shots fired here at this house.
And he's telling Jason, we got a call about shots being fired at this house. I can't make out what Jason's saying, though.
We got one in the, let's get a turn on his arm.
Let's do it second stage, just to make sure.
Allie, I love you.
Leave that right there.
Leave it. Hey.
Did you shoot? Yeah. Just stand by right here.
So the one cop asked the other one, did you shoot? The guy goes, yeah. That's something you probably don't want to say on camera.
Hey, I go back towards the drug camera, man.
Go back towards the Bearcat. And I also heard mention of an armored vehicle. These guys had an armored vehicle on the scene. Okay, that's going to be important later when you ask, why did they shoot? You hear him? Armored vehicle. There was a Bearcat on the scene.
Let's do a secondary sweep.
Fuck.
Bro, fuck.
Hey, cameras.
Ah, they found the camera. Hey, you're on candid camera. They didn't know that. And they just discovered that they're on camera and they're going like, oh, man. In other words, guys, let's be careful what we say. They're looking for the firearm. They had better find a firearm, because if they don't find one, that just kind of looks bad. Sure, it doesn't really change anything legally, but it's just really bad press to have to admit to the community, well, we didn't really find a firearm. Yeah, we shot him up really good. Well, why were you out there? Well, we were looking for a firearm. Oh, really? Did you find one? No. Notice, wearing tactical vests and helmets. They have a lot of protection. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So, I know some of you, maybe not many, but I know some of you are thinking, well, wait a minute. He walked outside holding what they could have thought was a gun. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He had his hands up and he's opening the door and he's coming out as you told him. Now you might think, well, what about the threat of the gun? There is no threat. Look at the overhead picture of the trailer. You see here, right here, and here, and right here, and there's another one, are trees. They had plenty of time to take cover, but even better, they had a Bearcat. So if you're standing behind a Bearcat, an armored vehicle with I don't know how many inches of steel plate it's got, or if you're standing behind a tree, why in the hell are you so worried about a man coming out holding a handgun? This is just horrible training. I thought SWAT was supposed to be like highly trained, but this is terrible. If you're standing behind a tree, okay, and you've been calling out for somebody to come out, you have to be thinking, hey, even if he comes out with a 20 millimeter Gatling, he can't hurt me. I'm standing behind a tree. So if I do see him come out with what looks like a firearm, guess what I'm going to do? I think I'll just duck back a little bit and then yell at him to drop the weapon. But instead, what do? They just open fire on him. But what a bunch of chicken shits. I mean, seriously, what's the purpose of having a Bearcat if you're just going to mow people down because you're scared they might have a gun? And he didn't have one. That's really bad. This is just ridiculous, guys. Come on. Cops out there are going to have to quit doing this shit. Consider the shooting of Philando Castile. Yeah, technically justified. Philando Castile was not really operating within the law as far as his gun was concerned because he was stoned. But whatever the case, I mean, yeah, the cop was telling him not to reach for it, but you can duck. You can back away. You can get behind the rear pillar. There's a lot of things you can do. You don't have to pull out a gun and shoot the guy just because you think he might be pulling out a weapon. Now, there's obviously cases where that's justified. But in that case there, I thought that the cop was very skittish. These cops are just absolute chicken shits. This is crazy. Anybody who opened fire on that dude shouldn't be handling a weapon. Now, I say that some of those shots were probably sympathetic fire. Whoever opened fire first should be in serious, serious trouble. All right, let's learn a little bit more about what took place and be prepared to get really pissed. Okay, so here's the initial press release. Okay, you ready for this? On Monday, December 12th, 2022, at around 11 p.m., Cherokee County E911 Communications received a 911 call indicating a disturbance with several gunshots fired at 1790 Upper Bear Paw Road. Now, how do you know it was at that residence? When you hear a gunshot go off, especially at night, how in the hell are you going to tell where it came from? Especially out in the country. If you ever hear a shot go off, it could come from anywhere. But let's read on. Cherokee County deputies were immediately dispatched and arrived on the scene at approximately 11:17 p.m. Deputies attempted to make contact with the alleged shooter, but was unsuccessful. Recognizing there was an armed suspect present, I'd love to know how they come to that conclusion, and the potential for a hostage situation, Cherokee County Sheriff's Office obtained a search warrant and requested assistance from the Cherokee Indian Police Department SWAT team. The suspected shooter engaged in a verbal altercation with officers and emerged from a camper trailer and confronted officers and engaged in a verbal altercation. Go back and play it over again. You point out where he engages in any kind of verbal altercation. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Well, what about that 15 seconds that was edited out or lost, whatever? After that moment in time, if you hear them talking, it's clear they don't know who's outside and there has been no verbal altercation. And what's this confrontation? How did he confront the police officers outside? He opened the door and he has his hands up as he walks outside. It's clear. Members of the Cherokee Indian Police SWAT team fired upon the suspect and wounded him. So I have a question here is, did the sheriff deputies go home? It sounds like it. The suspect was transported to Erlanger in Chattanooga, Tennessee, where he was last reported in stable condition. Thank God for that. The North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation was called to investigate the matter. After consultation with the district attorney's office, Jason Harley Kloepfer, age 41, of 1790 Upper Bear Paw Road, Murphy, North Carolina. Get this, are you ready? I told you you're going to get pissed off. Has been charged with communicating threats and resist, obstruct, and delay. The matter remains under investigation and more charges may follow. Cherokee County Sheriff Dustin Smith wishes to thank the Cherokee Indian Police Department. He's going to change his tune on that in a moment. Cherokee County EMS and Cherokee County E911 Communications for their assistance with this incident. If anyone has any more information about the incident, whatever, call. All right, now it gets really good. Because at the time the sheriff wrote this, he hadn't seen the video camera from inside the mobile home. They showed them that later. And guess what? He's not happy about it. Let's read what he said in the follow-up. All right. On the evening of December 12, 2022, Emergency 911 Dispatch received a report about a possible shooting and hostage situation on Upper Bear Paw Road in Murphy. Hostage situation. Now, what led them to believe there was a hostage? Gee, when you write these little notes to like Facebook and stuff, you might want to mention that. Because there was no hostage here. Since the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office does not have a tactical team to handle a hostage event, I requested assistance from the Cherokee Indian Police Department SWAT team. Subsequently, members of CIPD SWAT fired shots at an individual who emerged from the home, injuring him. Following the shooting, my office issued a press release about the event. The release was prepared by the county attorney based on information my office received from the tribal police. He's saying, hey man, when we released this press release, I was going by what the attorney gave me, and the attorney was going by what the tribal police told him. This is called backtracking. Neither myself nor Chief Deputy Justin Jacobs were on the scene at the time of the shooting, so we relied on information provided to us from the Cherokee Indian Police Department. My goal with issuing that press release was not to comment on the subsequent criminal investigation, which remains ongoing, but rather to update the public on a dangerous situation. The first time I ever saw video footage from the shooting was on January 18, 2023, and that's just a few days ago. It's my understanding that the state and district attorney's office has been notified of the video as well. When I campaigned for the office of sheriff, I had several conversations with fellow law enforcement officials and the public about the need for Cherokee County to have its own tactical team. Gee, why would you be saying that if you thought that the Cherokee Indian Police Department did a good job? It is imperative for us to be self-reliant when it comes to fighting crime, especially during a situation in which time is of the essence, such as a hostage or active shooter event. Okay, here's where it gets really good. I will be asking county commissioners for the funds to create such a unit when budget negotiations for the next fiscal year begin. Thank you for your understanding and continued support. Oh boy. Again, he could not have possibly been happy with what he saw on video there. He wouldn't be telling the people, hey, look, man, we want our own tactical unit. It's not our fault we had to bring those guys in. The charges against Jason may have stemmed from the earlier incident with the sheriff's deputies. They probably told him to come out, and he told them to go pound sand. And this also could maybe explain the time discrepancy. It might have been 6 hours between the time that the sheriff deputies got there and when the Cherokee Indian Police Department got there. Keep in mind that this dude's house is about an hour away from the Cherokee Indian Reservation. And it probably even further, because that was the actual tip of the reservation. So they might have been on a 2-3 hour drive to get there. At any rate, horribly planned. Hey, if you're going to show up with a Bearcat and you've got mature trees around and you're asking a person to come outside, there's no need to shoot the dude just because you think he might have a weapon. You have plenty of cover, and, you might be wrong. So what do I think happened here? I got to thinking about it. None of this made any sense. Gunshots go off late at night, and all of a sudden, we hear reports of a hostage situation. What the hell? So let's think about this. It's late at night, and you hear some gunshots go off over at your neighbor's place. What would make you think there was a hostage situation? I can't think of anything. So I got to thinking, wait a minute. Who claimed it was a hostage situation? According to the news reports, it was the 9/11 call, but I'm not so sure. So here's what I think happened. Somebody did call in that there were some gunshots, and so the sheriff's deputies go out there and they knock on Jason's door. And he is being belligerent. They're saying, step out. He's saying, go screw you. I don't have to talk to you. And they probably had some name calling going on. But the officers don't have a warrant. They can't go in. But they don't want to just walk away. I mean, they've got their feelings burnt a little. He's probably called them some names. So what do? Well, you SWAT him. You claim that there appears to be a hostage situation. You get a search warrant, and then you call the Cherokee Indian Police Department to come and take care of it. And you just go home. So now the Cherokee Indians, they're going to travel, 3 or 4 hours to get there, and you're just going to go on home and let them take care of it. Ha ha ha, we got even with that son of a bitch for calling us those names. I think that's what could have happened here. The whole hostage deal was created by the sheriff's deputies to get even with Jason for calling them names and being just belligerent. What do you think? Regardless, the Cherokee Indian Police Department really screwed up here. You can't just shoot a man just because you think he might have a gun if you have very good cover and you've had plenty of time to strategize. Even if he had a gun, he could not have hurt you if you were behind a Bearcat or behind a tree trunk. So what do? You see he might have a gun, you yell at him, drop the weapon. You could see that's not at all what happened. They just opened fire on him. As far as the sheriff's deputies are concerned, I don't know what happened there, but if you swatted him, you might be facing some serious charges on your own. It all comes down to the 911 call. They must have a recording of it, and if the word hostage does not appear on that recording, heads are going to roll. Like my video, subscribe to my channel.